Hello, my name is Jessica and welcome to my speech room. If you are new here, I am a speech language pathologist and I am sharing my speech therapy journey here with you. I am an authentic real life speech language pathologist. So what I kind of mean by that is these are real sessions I am really doing with real students, and you're not going to see any fancy lighting. You're not going to see any fancy props, just real speech therapy as it is really happening. So today I wanted to talk with you about our theme of the week. It is zoo animals. So if you are new here, we do a weekly theme. These are the themes I do. I have 36 of them, so stick around. I'm going to be doing all 36 this year, 1 week at a time, and I'm so happy to have you join me. So 36 weeks, the theme is zoo. So these are what I use with my preschool language students. And if you want to get your own copy, they're at my TPT store. But zoo theme, this week we did, the book we did was Goodnight Gorilla. And I love this book because it is a wordless book, which means my students have to kind of talk and engage, and it's really easy to get them to interact with the pictures because it's this silly little gorilla who's being super sneaky and the kids think it's hilarious. And so we read Goodnight Gorilla. Super fun. That was our book. So each theme has a book, a song, and a play-based activity that goes with it. So the song we did was a super simple song about going to the zoo. And it's like, let's go to the zoo. Let's go. Okay, that song, I'm not going to sing the whole thing. But the reason I love this song is because it has lots of verbs in it. So you kind of act out what the animal does. We stomp like an elephant. We slither like a snake. We jump like a kangaroo. So I get my students up and we're doing what the animals do and also practicing verbs and zoo vocabulary, but they don't know that. So that's our song. And then our play-based activity, we pulled out some zoo animals today, specifically for myself. So what I love about these themes, first of all, is that you can modify them for any student, whatever their language goals are. So I can use them for vocabulary, I can use them for verbs, I can use it for all kinds of things, answering questions. Today specifically, I was working on location words, on, in, and under. And my students had a lot of fun. We pulled back out the Goodnight Gorilla book, and we had the animals, we made a little house out of it, and we had the animals climb up on the house, and then the house fell down, and there was an animal under the house that got squished, and so we just took turns squishing a bunch of animals in our house. So that was the language session that or the language theme that I did today. Now, some other things that we did today were I pulled out my social stories reading passages, and I actually today used them with an articulation student who's working on reading and conversation skills, but I created these passages so that they could be used with a wide variety of students, particularly older students who might need to be working on some social language skills. Each reading passage focuses on nonverbal communication, idioms, and complex emotions, and taking the perspective of others. So this is really great for those mixed groups where maybe you have a language student who's working on answering questions or reading skills, reading comprehension, you have an articulation student, and then you have the social language student. You can use it all for all of them. They're amazing. So we read Farah's story today, and that was what we did. And then after we read Farah's story, we also pulled out our highlights magazines and we did a hidden picture activity. This student particularly loves the hidden pictures. So we did that, and then we just kind of did a little game at the end to reinforce good behavior and working hard. And if you want those social language reading passages, I will put a link in the description for that and for the preschool 36 weeks of preschool language speech therapy themes. Okay. Next, I had another student today who was brand new, first day coming to speech. And on those days, I always do the same activity. And it's just an introduction to why do we come to speech. So I pull out my Mighty Mouth puppet and we talk about our articulators and how our mouth helps us to talk. That's what speech means, is talking. And we talk about the different parts of the mouth and how each of these parts have a job to help us talk. So we talk about our tongue, our teeth, our lips, and our voice. And we practice making the sounds in isolation. So, I'll talk about how the tongue goes up and we can make our t, t, t sound, or our tongue goes back and we can make our k, k, k sound, or our tongue can go between our teeth and it makes our th, th sound. And then we talk about how we use our teeth and our lips to make our sound, or our v, and we just talk about all the different ways we can move our mouth. And I do this before I even tell the student what their sound is, because what I have learned is if they don't realize they're talking and making like a word, they can actually make that sound most of the time. Not all the time, but like this student today has 5 or 6 sounds that we're going to be targeting, all of them in isolation when we were just playing with the puppet, talking about how our mouth can move. The second I took that away, like it was just completely different. Like, this is really hard. I can't make these sounds anymore. But I kind of was able to prove to them, hey, yeah, you can. So I pull out the Mighty Mouth puppet, I pull out my mirror, and we go over to the mirror with the puppet and talk about why we're coming to speech. And then I had a little bit of time left, so I had some manipulatives that like represented the sound. So we had some cheese, a zebra, a snake, and a little finger that was our like shh, quiet sound. And I hid those things around the room, and my student then looked for them, and then we practiced saying our special sound 5 times. So those are just a few activities from my speech room today. If you want to continue following along and hopefully getting some new speech therapy activity ideas, speech therapy lesson plans, be sure to come back next week, as there will be a new theme that we will be talking about and some new activity suggestions.